Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It's March 29, 2023, and this is the first official Barca News live stream. So, welcome everyone to the channel. We have a lot of interesting news to discuss today. It started with Ansu Fati's father, Bori Fati, who has slammed Barcelona in an interview that he just did recently, followed by the news that Iñigo Martínez has officially signed with Barcelona. And finally, it looks like Atletico Paranaense want to keep Vitor Roque for one more season. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. As I've said before, this is the first official Barca News live stream, so please bear with me. I'm still getting used to the whole setup. Hopefully, the sound sounds good because I got a new mic, which I'm still figuring out the settings. I see everybody in the chat. Hey, everyone. I'm really glad that you guys are here. I'm very excited for these live streams. Again, these live streams are going to be twice a week, Monday and Wednesdays at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want, I could do more live streams, but let's start with two this week, two a week, just to see how it goes from there. Again, I really hope that the sound is good. If not, please let me know in the chat. I'm still getting used to all these settings. All right. Damien says sound is clear. Perfect. All right, awesome. I'm also working on getting a live stream software, which will allow me to do cool things with pictures and screen splits, and maybe I have some guests and everything, but that's all in the works. You know, slowly this channel keeps on growing, and it's all thanks to you amazing people that are always here watching the channel, subscribing to it, supporting it. So without further ado, let's start with the news. Let's start with international break is officially over. So all the seven Barcelona players that left on international duty, they're all back now. They're all healthy, which is good, except Andreas Christensen, of course, who suffered a calf injury. He's going to be out 15 days, which is a big loss for Barcelona, but at least the other the other six players are all healthy. That's always good to know because the international breaks always seem to be a curse for us. So it's good that we only lost one player. If I'm looking down, it's because I'm trying to see you guys' chat. That's why. But we got our next match is on Sunday, which will be against Elche. Rafinha is going to be suspended. He has 5 yellow cards. So it's expected that Ansu Fati will be starting that match. So that will be a good opportunity for the youngster to hopefully show us that he's recovering his performance and that he could, get back into the first team dynamic. And speaking of Ansu Fati, on to the big news, of course, that his father, Bori Fati, has completely slammed Barcelona in an interview that he just did in one of the biggest shows in Spain. It was unfortunate words by the father where he said that if it was up to him, he would take Ansu Fati away from Barcelona and to somewhere else. He also said that he's very upset with the team, that they're not giving him minutes, that Ansu Fati deserves more. And he even said that he's not going to be going to the camp now because he is, too upset with Barcelona. Unfortunate words by the father of Ansu Fati, which has caused an absolute storm on social media. Everybody's blaming Ansu Fati, but I think it's very important that we separate Ansu Fati from his father. These are not Ansu Fati's statements. These are two different people. Ansu Fati has made it very clear that he wants to remain in Barcelona, that he's happy at Barcelona, that he's a Barcelona man through and through. The club have said that they count on Ansu Fati. They don't plan on selling him. So both parties are, very happy with each other. They both want to continue their relationship. So this is just Ansu Fati speaking on his own accord. This does not represent Ansu Fati's state of mind. In fact, Ansu Fati's father himself said that Ansu Fati has received offers last summer and that he didn't want to leave, that he wants to remain in Barcelona. So it's very important that we not blame Ansu Fati for his father's statements. Now, I saw someone just mention in the chat that I should respond to the chat in between segments. I think that's a great idea. So let's look real quick. We got Reverse Blitz saying, can we talk about Cancelo? Cancelo right now is not the plan. Unfortunately, Barcelona cannot afford him. They did consider loan, but that's all got to depend on Manchester City. The problem is his salary. We could take him on loan. His salary, he has a pretty big salary, which Barcelona could not afford. It's still in the plans, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. Messi, I've addressed Messi in many of the previous videos. I've said before, I don't think Messi's coming. Unfortunately, we just cannot fit his salary. He makes 40 million euros at PSG, which is absolutely impossible. Even if he accepts a 50% cut, which would bring him down to 20 million euros, that still would be impossible for Barcelona. And not only impossible, Jean Laporta, he instituted a salary cap where no player could earn more than 10 million. So that not only is it impossible, it would go against what the rules that Jean Laporta has instilled. And Barcelona can't even register Gavi's contract, which is 4.5 million euros. So trying to register a 20 million euro contract is I just don't see it happening. I don't think it should happen. We shouldn't really jeopardize the club's economy just to bring someone who is nearing retirement. Let's see what else. Boom, Bori Fati L. I agree. He really has put his son in a bind. Let's see what else. Xavi was impressed by Eric Garcia at pivot. I haven't heard anything. I think it'd be an interesting thing to try out. Have Eric Garcia doing a pivot position. I really like Eric. I know he gets a lot of hate, but I like Eric. I think we forget he's still young. He still has plenty of room to grow. He's not a 26-year-old footballer who, that's it, has reached his peak and he's not going to get any better. He's still, 20, 21. So he still has plenty of room to grow. He had really good matches last season. Yes, he did make mistakes, but we forget, these are young players who are bound to make mistakes. Ronald Araujo had many mistakes last season as a first-team player. And in fact, the fans were ready to crucify him and, talking about how he wasn't good for anything. And now look at him. He's one of the best center backs in the world. And I'm not saying Eric Garcia is the same as Ronald Araujo, not at all. But, these players are bound to make mistakes when they're starting out. You got to give them time to develop. Eric Garcia is not getting time. And I think that's a big problem. Let's see what else. One more, and then we'll move on to the next news. I don't want to make the stream too long, for the people who are going to be watching the recording. I don't want it to be a 30-minute video and then have them, be bored halfway and leave and miss out on the rest of the news. Ansu Fati will be sold. That's still in the works. Barcelona's official stance is not going to be sold. So we'll see. I'd rather give him another season. Again, Ansu Fati, we forget he's only 20 years old. And the fact that he's a first-team player, I mean, that's huge. If he was a Barca Athletic player and he hadn't made it to the first team in the previous 2 seasons, everybody would be fine with Ansu Fati's performance right now because, again, he's young, he's developing. The doctors say he is fully physically fit, so that means it's all in his mind. It's all a confidence issue. And if that's the case, then I think we should give him more time to regain his confidence because talent like Ansu Fati, you don't find it around the corner. He has that raw talent that's very high to find. So if the talent is there, if the physicality is there, if his body's there, everything's there, and it's just his mind, that's something you can fix. Talent you can't fix. If your player doesn't have a talent, you can't teach him that. But Ansu Fati already has that. So why not give him more time to regain his confidence? Because if we do end up selling him and then he ends up exploding at some other team, we're going to definitely regret it. But anyways, let's get back to the news. The big news we've talked about in previous videos about how Barcelona were very close to signing Iñigo Martínez in the summer as a free agent, and now it's been confirmed by Gerard Romero. He is a Catalan reporter out in Barcelona, very close to the team. His news is always pretty much reliable as far as the transfer market, and he has confirmed that Barcelona and Iñigo Martínez have officially signed a contract. So Iñigo Martínez, the 31-year-old Athletic Club de Bilbao defender, will be coming to Barcelona to fulfill Xavi's request to have a left-footed center back. I really think this means that Jordi Alba is out the club because Xavi wants 5 center backs. And the rumor is that he wants Marcos Alonso to move over to the left back position to be Alejandro Balde's substitute. So if Marcos Alonso moves to the left back position, that means there would be only 4 center backs, with of course, Iñigo Martínez being the 5th. So I really think Jordi Alba will be on the chopping block in the summer. But nonetheless, the interesting news about the Iñigo Martínez signing is Gerard Romero has revealed that there's a clause that the player has agreed to where if Barcelona cannot reduce their wage bill and they can't register Iñigo Martínez, that clause allows Iñigo Martínez to go on loan to another team, to any team, as long as that team can match his salary. So that's a very interesting clause that Barcelona have included. Of course, the club need to reduce their wage bill by 200 million euros in order to make any signings. So if they can't, then Iñigo Martínez will go on loan to another team that can match his salary. I'm very surprised that Iñigo Martínez agreed to this. If if when you sign with a team, your hope is to play for that team, and then to end up signing for that team just so you can end up playing for another. It would be, of course, a shame. But hopefully Barcelona can reduce their wage bill, sign Iñigo Martinez. But that's a very interesting clause that the club have included in there. So again, let's go back to the chat, see what you guys are talking about. Maybe you can answer some questions before we move on to the next segment. Where's the last thing we left off on? Messi will take a huge pay cut. Again, even if he takes a 50% pay cut, Barcelona cannot afford it. I don't think Messi would take anything below 10 million euros. Again, he's still one of the best players in the world. He is a World Cup winner, so I don't see him wanting to accept, something like 6-7 million euros, which is what Barcelona would be able to afford. Thank goodness Alba's leaving. Again, not confirmed. That's just my sensation. The club are set to meet with Jordi Alba in the upcoming days. They want to discuss either reduce his salary or leave the club. So it's not for sure yet. We'll see. My sense is that he will be leaving. Again, he's one of the highest paid players on the squad, and he's not really contributing to the team. He spent most of the season on the bench. One more, and then we'll move to the next segment. Ollie, please do not use all caps. That's funny. Get rid of Ter Stegen. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Why would we want to get rid of one of the best goalkeepers in the world? All right, I think that pretty much covers it. If I missed anything important that I haven't touched, just leave another comment. I'll address it. The next news segment is related to that Inigo Martinez. Again, I said in yesterday's video that there's another signing that for sure will be happening, and it's that of İlkay Gundogan. So it seems that Barcelona have offered Gundogan the same exact clause as Inigo Martinez, that if Barcelona cannot reduce their wage bill, then Gundogan would have to go on loan to another team for the season that would match his salary. And it seems that the German-Turkish midfielder has said no to that clause. But nonetheless, everything else is agreed to. İlkay Gundogan has agreed to how long, the term of the contract, the salary, everything is agreed to between Barcelona and the player. That's the only thing that they're not agreeing to is that clause. İlkay Gundogan, he wants to come to Barcelona to play for Barcelona. He doesn't want to come just to be loaned out to another team. So that's the only thing remaining. We're going to have to see whether Gundogan ends up agreeing to that clause or whether Barcelona ends up backing out and removing that clause from the contract. But as of now, all the terms have been agreed to. So İlkay Gundogan will become a Barcelona player in the summer. Of course, all of this is pending Barcelona reducing their wage bill by 200 million euros. That's the first step. The second step would be to register the contract renewals that they've already done, which is Gabi, Ronald Araujo, Marcos Alonso, Sergi Roberto. The third step would be to renew the players that they want to renew, such as Alejandro Balde and Dembele, two players whose contract expire in the summer of 2024. And then finally, the last step would be to sign free agents, which would be Iñigo Martinez, İlkay Gundogan. And after that, if there's any margin left, then Barcelona would look to sign more players. So it looks like the club have a lot of work to do this summer. Matteo Alemania has a lot of work to do this summer. Hopefully it all goes in our favor and we can reinforce our squad, because right now we're in a good trajectory and we can bring more players. Then that would be huge. So again, back to the chat before we move on to the next segment. Damn, I'm really liking this live streams. Are you guys liking this live streams? I like this whole, giving you the news and also interacting with you guys. It's a lot more fun than just talking into a camera by myself like a crazy person. So let me know down below if you're enjoying this live stream, if this is something you want to, do more often. I'm definitely up for that. I love interacting with you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. All right, let's see. Is it true that Messi coming back? I addressed that a little bit earlier in the video. If you just joined, just watch the video at the end, and then you can maybe rewind. I don't want to go over the same topics over and over again, just because just for time brevity. That's all. The next 11 next season should be Ter Stegen, Balde, Christensen, Araujo, Kunde, Gavi, De Jong, Pedri, Ansu, Lewa, and Dembele. I like that starting 11. Don't get me wrong. All right. Your content is suited for live streams. Thank you, Nima. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to the news. Vitor Roque. It looks like Atlético Paranaense want to keep him for one more season. Now, I'm not sure if this is just Atlético Paranaense trying to put pressure on clubs to up their offer, but the whole idea is that Atlético Paranaense want to excuse me, they supposedly are building a team around Vitor Roque. They're doing pretty well right now in the Brazilian league. They also have the Brazilian Cup coming up. They have the Libertadores coming up, which is the equivalent of the Champions League in South America. So they reportedly want to keep Vitor Roque for one more season because they're doing pretty well. This happened to Barcelona before when they tried to sign Neymar years ago. They couldn't take him the first season they tried to sign him because the Brazilian Federation wanted to keep Neymar in the Brazilian league for one more season because he was generating, a lot of viewership, a lot of sponsorship, a lot of money. So it looks like the same thing has happened with Vitor Roque. Atlético Paranaense want to keep him so they can, keep doing well, keep earning money, keep earning sponsorship. There's also talk about the Brazilian Federation also putting pressure on Atlético Paranaense to keep Vitor Roque because, again, he's a huge star. He's one of the most coveted players in the world. So to have a star like that in your league benefits you a lot, generates a lot of sponsorships and viewerships. So it looked like Atlético Paranaense want to keep Vitor Roque for one more season. As we talked about before, they have upped the price to 50 million euros, which is more than what Barcelona are willing to pay. Vitor Roque's father is currently on a European tour. He has met with Arsenal, Chelsea, PSG, and Barcelona is next. And it's starting to look more and more difficult that we're going to be signing Vitor Roque. Again, I'm not saying that we're not going to sign him, but things are definitely getting complicated. I can see why Atlético Paranaense would want to keep him for one more season. Again, one more season means one more goals, more improvement in performance, which then would allow them to increase the price next season. But we're going to have to see what happens with Vitor Roque. I think this is a name that we're going to be talking about a lot for the upcoming months. Unfortunately, Barcelona had it in the bag, but then once Vitor Roque played in that South American Championship, in his huge performance that he had, he became champion with Brazil. That has definitely complicated things for Barcelona because his price has gone up. More teams are interested in now. So definitely difficult situation with Vitor Roque. We're going to have to see what happens. Let's go back to the chat, and then we'll touch on the last bit of news, and that will be it for today. Wow, I'm already at 17 minutes. That's crazy. Anything about Ansu? Yes, I already mentioned it. Mentioned Ansu Fati at the beginning of the video. If you just joined, again, just watch the video once the stream is over. We talked about Ansu in detail. We should bring David. Who's David? Roque does Chelsea. They will bid like, yeah, Chelsea are ridiculous right now. I mean, the money they are spending on players, it's crazy. They blew the bank on all these player signings in the summer. And then just so they can sell most of them in the winter and sign more players. I mean, what Chelsea are doing are insane. How UEFA and FIFA are not investigating them, I have no idea. Barcelona, God forbid, they spend a little bit of money on a player, and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Javier Tebas is investigating, UEFA is investigating, but here you have Chelsea, Man City, PSG spending ridiculous, godly amounts of money. Nobody seems to care. Let's see what else. Do you guys think Messi should come back? I've talked about that before. I don't think so, but just because the club situation, if this wasn't a financial situation problem, I would love to have Messi back, but 400 million in January. Yeah, I agree. Chelsea, I don't know what's going on, but anyways, let's get back to the news. The last bit of news is Barcelona, more legal troubles. I mentioned this several weeks ago in a previous video about how Unión Adarve, this is I think a second or a third division Spanish league team, had filed a complaint against Barcelona with FIFA because Barcelona had not paid them what's called a development fee. So what a development fee is, this is a program that was started by FIFA in order to generate more income for lower division teams. So when a lower division team helps develop a player into a star, and that player ends up leaving to big teams, then when that player is sold, those smaller teams, the lower division teams who helped develop that player, they get a cut of that transfer fee, right? That's in order to develop the lower division team so they can get more income. So Marcos Alonso came up through Unión Adarve. So when Barcelona bought Marcos Alonso from Chelsea, Unión Adarve are saying that they deserve a cut of that transfer fee because they helped develop Marcos Alonso. So under the FIFA program, they're owed that cut. Now, Barcelona are saying that they took Marcos Alonso on a free transfer, so that since there is no transfer, Unión Adarve doesn't get any cut. Unión Adarve are saying that that's a lie, that the swap that Barcelona did where that saw Aubameyang go to Chelsea and Marcos Alonso come to Barcelona, that counts as a transfer fee, and as such, Unión Adarve deserve a cut. So they filed a complaint against FIFA. The new news is, because I already discussed this in the previous video, is that another team, the Bolton Wanderers, where Marcos Alonso also played, has also joined the complaint, and they're also saying that Barcelona owes them a development fee. So this is going to FIFA. FIFA's going to have to rule on this matter. If FIFA finds that Barcelona were trying to hide how much they paid for Marcos Alonso to avoid paying the development fee, then Barcelona, not only would they have to pay the development fee, but they would also have to they would also be sanctioned. They would have to pay a fee. So more legal troubles for Barcelona, which is unfortunate. And then the final bit of news is the great news that the Barcelona Femini completely demolished Roma today in the quarterfinals of the Women's Champions League. The first leg of the quarterfinals of the Women's Champions League was in Italy. Barcelona won 0-1. This second leg was at the Camp Nou, and the Barcelona Femini ladies won 5-1. An absolute show. I watched the match. It was an absolute masterclass of a performance by the Barcelona Femini. So that brought the score to an aggregate score of 6-1. Absolute destruction on Roma. And with this, the Barcelona Femini have moved on to the semifinals of the Women's Champions League. You know, last season they made it to the final, but they lost. The season before they won it. So we'll see. Barcelona Femini, again, if you haven't seen them, I highly recommend watching them. You can watch their matches for free on Barca TV on YouTube. They're absolutely amazing. They'll make you fall in love, again, with the Barcelona style of play. They play just like Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, that tiki-taka, quick first-touch passes, triangulations, fast transitions. I mean, they're absolutely amazing. They're 10 times better than the men's team. But I had the privilege of seeing them in Barcelona at the Johan Cruyff Stadium, and I fell in love. I mean, the way they play, my God, these ladies are amazing. And again, they're completely undefeated in La Liga. They have won every single match. What these ladies are doing is amazing. So if you haven't seen them play, I highly recommend you do. Let's go back to the chat. A few more comments, and then we'll get off air. It's already 22 minutes. Wow, this stream went on much longer than I expected. I'm not complaining. I like this. I like this a lot, and I love that you guys are active in the chat. We're getting sued so much. Yes, we are. Everyone's out to get Barcelona. But we got Alonso for free. Yeah, exactly. That's Barcelona's argument, is that we got him for free. Unión Adarve and Bolton are saying no, that we didn't. So that's gonna be something that FIFA are gonna have to rule on. I get nervous when Alonso plays. I don't know. A lot of people hate on Marcos Alonso. I don't know why. I like him. I mean, he's the kind of player that works hard, keeps his head down, accepts whatever role he gets, accepts however minutes Xavi wants to throw his way, and he does his job on the field. I think Marcos Alonso gets a lot of hate because he's not that flashy player. I mean, when Marcos Alonso plays, you don't say, wow, what a match. Marcos Alonso is amazing. But he's also not a bad player either. He's like, he's good enough. He goes on the field, he does his job, and that's it. And I think that's why people usually hate on him a lot. He's not Ronald Araujo, right? When Ronald Araujo plays, you're like, oh my God, this guy is a beast. Marcos Alonso is not that kind of player, but that doesn't mean he's bad. He's just, he does his job, and that's it. So yeah, I don't understand why people give Marcos Alonso a lot of hate. I like him. Plus, he's very versatile. I mean, he could play as a left back, as a fullback, as a wing back, as a center back. I mean, he's very versatile, and his experience. I mean, he's played it all. He's won it all. He has great experience. I like Marcos Alonso. Let's see, 5-1 versus Roma. Yes, that was an amazing game. Messi. Peter really wants Messi to come back. Anyways, I think I covered it all. Thank you guys for tuning in to the first official Barca News live stream. I will be doing this again next Monday, same time, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays. Thank you again for joining in. If this goes well, I might be doing it more often, maybe on the weekends. I'm thinking about doing it after matches, do kind of like a post-match analysis live where I can interact with you guys, see what you guys thought about the performances of the team, of players, etc. Again, thank you guys. Visca Barca, and I'll see you on the next one.